This is the 8th lesson of Unreal Engine 5 C++ for complete beginners. I am currently inside the same header file that we created earlier. And this is the same class that we have been using throughout the last few lessons. In this lesson, we are going to understand the remaining parts of this generated code. First, we will learn about these keywords. In C++, they are called access specifiers. We will understand what they are, why we use them, and how many access specifiers C++ gives us by default. Then towards the end of the lesson, we will learn about these green lines of text. These are called comments. They help us write cleaner code, and they make our code much easier to read and understand. Let's get started. First, let's understand access specifiers by theory. Then, we will see a real example. By definition, access specifiers are rules that determine who is allowed to access or modify the data and functions inside a class. In real life, not all information should be available to everyone. Some information can be public, while other information should remain private for security reasons. Access specifiers help us control this by deciding which parts of a class can be accessed from outside the class, and which parts should remain hidden. There are 3 types of access specifiers. The first one is public. Suppose you create a variable or a function and mark it as public. It means any class in your entire game can access it. The second one is private. No other class can access it. Only the class where you created that variable or function can access it. And the last one is protected. Only the class itself and its child classes can access it. For a beginner, this might sound a little confusing. So, let's understand it with a real example. Suppose we have 3 variables: account number, ATM PIN, and account balance. Now let's focus on the account number. An account number can be considered public information. When someone wants to send money to your account, they need to know your account number. So it makes sense that this information can be accessed from outside the class. To make it public, simply go above the variable. Write public, all in lowercase, and end it with a colon. Great, now the account number is public information. Any class can access it. Now think of this as a section. Whatever variables or functions you declare below this public access specifier will also become public, which means the ATM PIN also becomes public. And that's probably not what you want. Now let's talk about the ATM PIN. An ATM PIN is highly sensitive information. Nobody outside this class should be able to access it directly. So, it should be private. Again, the steps are exactly the same. Go above the variable. Write private, all in lowercase, and end it with a colon. Great! You have created another section. Now every variable declared below this private access specifier becomes private, including the account balance. And again, that's probably not what you want. Now let's look at the account balance. It is not public, but it is also not highly sensitive information. For example, you probably don't need to hide your account balance from your family. So, protected is a perfect choice. By making it protected, we hide it from the outside world. But child classes of this class can still access it. So, I will simply mark it as protected. Now you might be wondering why there is more than one public section, or even more than one protected section. Well, you can put all your public variables inside one section. Or, you can create multiple public sections. The same applies to private and protected. It all depends on how you want to organize your code. Great! Now let's understand these green lines of text. They are called comments. Comments are simply lines of text that are ignored by the compiler. We use them to explain our code. leave notes for ourselves, or make the code easier to read and understand. Let's take an example. Suppose we created these 3 variables, and I want to leave a note here, so that, after a few months, if I come back to this code, I immediately know why these variables were created. So, how do we write a comment? It's very simple. Type 2 forward slashes, and then write your note. For example, I will write bank details. Now we immediately know that all these variables are related to bank details. When the compiler sees these 2 forward slashes, it ignores everything written after them from that line. So comments are only for us. They help programmers understand the code. This is called a single-line comment. Now let's see a multi-line comment. To create one, simply write /, and then / again. Between these symbols, you can write multiple lines of comments. The compiler ignores these comments as well. Great! Now you understand all the important code inside the header file, as well as the CPP file. In the next lesson, we will learn how to create our own functions, just like begin, play, and tick. See you in the next one.